I folded the silk handkerchief 3 times, edges kissing, then slid it into the corner of the gift box beneath the custom frame. It held Damon's favorite poem from high school, Invictus, all pulse and defiance, the way he'd recite it in the car on the way to morning practice. The frame was walnut, steady as the promises I believed we still shared. "I can't wait for tomorrow," I said, smoothing the last wrinkle in the tissue paper. Lila's face changed first. My granddaughter's mouth puckered, her fingers twitched. The glass of apple juice slipped from her hand and shattered across the hardwood. "She did too," she whispered, eyes wide. "I'm sorry, Grandma." Her voice trembled like the juice-soaked shards. "But the wedding was last week." I blinked. "No, sweetheart, it's tomorrow." I reached for certainty the way you reach for a railing in the dark. I pulled open the side drawer and took out the thick envelope I'd been saving. There it was, in looping faux calligraphy. Saturday, May 20th. Tomorrow, creamstock, black ink. My name rendered with a flourish Kelsey always loved, but Lila didn't lie. That child's eyes had never learned how. Something inside me tipped, a floorboard shifting under old weight. I drove to Ruth's with the invitation clenched in my hand. She opened the door with her silver bun already loosening, reading glasses swinging on a beaded chain. She took one look at me, stepped aside, and put the kettle on. Over tea, she studied the card like it might crumble if handled wrong. "This is real," she said finally. "Print shop, weighty paper, but 2 versions?" She tapped the corner. "That's trickier. Split mailing list, different dates it could be done." "So they planned it." My hand stayed wrapped around the mug. Ruth didn't answer immediately. "Someone did," she said. The kettle ticked as it cooled. I thought of Damon's recent project award, the one Kelsey had spun into wellness reels, coordinated linen, captions about generational success. My name never crossed the captions. "I used to be at every school play," I said to the steam. "Now I'm not even in the family recap." Back home, I called Damon. Voicemail. I texted, nothing. I tried the landline. No answer. Finally, I opened my laptop and typed Kelsey's hashtag. #LoveLikeDandK. There it was, dozens of photos. Brunch under silk canopies, petal toss, Kelsey glowing in lace, her parents flanking Damon at a toast. I scrolled and scrolled. I didn't appear. Not blurred in the background, not in the corner of a mirror. They hadn't forgotten me. They had erased me. Damon was 5 when Evan's car slid off the interstate in spring rain. I still hear the officer's careful pause. Damon clutched my skirt, silent, learning the shape of loss before he had the words. That summer, I forfeited the Portland Fellowship, boxed my watercolor brushes, and stayed in Hollow Brook. Night shifts at the floral distributor turned into weekends at the library. Vacations became extra paychecks. Shoes lasted through 2 winters. The car never had both working AC and radio at the same time. But Damon had cleats, braces, dignity. He had a future. At 28, he bought a fixer-upper with the cushion I'd built under the Delaney Family Trust. I signed as co-owner on paper because it helped him close. In truth, the trust bought the land outright. I let them pick the granite, the paint colors, the finish of the faucet. The legal foundation was mine. I kept 80%. When Lila was born and the hospital bills overflowed, I dipped into a CD, quiet as a second heartbeat. Damon said, "Thanks, Mom," and the next week let me pay for lunch. That was the rhythm. Small gratitude, memory optional. Last Thanksgiving, Kelsey hosted in their forever home. I arrived with pecan pie and knit booties for Lila's doll. Candles glowed, champagne fizzed. Kelsey's parents gave a speech about legacy at the head table. I sat at a folding table by the playroom, between a drowsy toddler and someone's nanny. I told myself it was logistics, too many guests, not enough seats. Now the scene replayed with new light. The gravel cracked loud beneath my tires as I pulled into their drive. Kelsey opened the door with a raised brow and a mouth drawn taut. "Vera," she said, a greeting in name only. Damon's tie hung askew as he hurried in from the hall. "Mom, you sent me the wrong invitation," I said. He rubbed his neck. "We didn't want drama. It was easier. Less stress." "You bring up old things," Kelsey added, arms crossed. "Family history that makes people uncomfortable. We wanted a clean slate." I paid 3 years of your mortgage, I said evenly. That old thing paid for your honeymoon. No one made you, she snapped. You offer and then act like we owe you. I never asked for anything back, I said. Damon looked at the stairs like a man wanting to dissolve into a different floor. Exactly, Kelsey said. So why be upset now? You gave. We built. That's how it works. I nodded once, a quiet hinge. Closing. You're right, I said. That is how it worked. I stepped outside. The air tasted cleaner. At home, the bottom drawer's lock remembered my hands. Left, right, center. I pulled the Delaney Trust file free and opened it on the table. My signature. 7 years ago, primary trustee, majority owner. Lines I had read and paid for and kept. I called Ruth. Do I still own it? You do, she said without hesitation. You're primary trustee and majority owner. They live there, Vera. You own it. I exhaled. Then it's time to remind them who built the roof. The county recorder's office was quieter than memory. A young clerk printed the latest documents. I slid across a notarized amendment. Freeze access, revoke shared payment privileges, remove Damon from the maintenance card, close the utility subaccount. The filings posted within the hour. That night, I canceled the family Netflix and removed my card from their mobile plan. My phone lit up the next morning. Kelsey, why are the cards declined? Then property tax draft bounced. What's going on? Damon's email arrived at dusk. Subject, mistake. Mom, if this is intentional, let me know. Otherwise, we should call the bank. I closed the laptop and walked the lakeside trail I hadn't walked in years. The pines smelled like cool breath. The posts began 2 days later. Kelsey, teacup in hand, chin lifted. Nothing hurts like sabotage from someone who's supposed to love you. Another followed. Some elders weaponize gifts. The comments swirled. Then a follower asked, why wasn't Damon's mom at the wedding? A florist's truck delivered white tulips and irises with a card that said, you deserved better. Priya, a woman from Damon's firm I'd met once, messaged, just so you know people are talking. He's losing the Maddox project. A different acquaintance forwarded a group chat screenshot. They forged a fake invite. That's cold. Kelsey's follower count slipped by the next morning. A brand partnership disappeared. No announcement, only absence. The knock came at sundown. They stood under the porch light, Damon weary, Kelsey in sunglasses, though the sky was already closing. It's been a rough few weeks, he said. Rumors, clients skittish. Kelsey swallowed. Some bills bounced. We're behind. Could we stay in the guest room until things settle? I brought out a tray with 2 cups of Earl Grey and poured without comment. We sat in the even silence that often tells more truth than speech. You built a wedding without me, I said finally. I built your foundation. Damon flinched. Kelsey looked past me at the wall, at anything that wasn't a mirror. This home welcomes people who remember that, I said. I reached beside my chair for a manila envelope, thick and notarized, and placed it in Damon's hands. His mouth worked around the bold letters before sound arrived. Notice of termination. 30 days to vacate? The trust you forgot exists, hasn't forgotten you, I said. This is not punishment. It is clarity. They left as if their bones had learned new weight. Within a week, Damon filed to challenge the trust, claimed confusion, claimed I'd never intended the terms to be so rigid. Ruth answered with scanned deeds, signature logs, stamped amendments, and a tone that was polite on the surface and steel underneath. There's nothing they can undo, she told me. You built it clean. Kelsey posted a video with careful lighting and piano under her tears. I loved my mother-in-law, she said, but money changes people. I didn't click. I went to my credit union instead and closed our shared expense account. I updated my estate documents, removed Damon as my emergency contact, and listed Ruth. That evening, Lila's teacher, Miss Jansen, called. Lila drew your house today, she said gently. She calls it her safe place, says she sleeps best there. The drawing arrived by mail, crayon trees, a wobbly rocking chair, a stick figure with big curls labeled me and Grandma at the lake. I pinned it above my desk not for sentiment but for direction. Some people understand love as ledger, others know it as shelter. I chose my side. A year has thinned and softened since then. I wake to birch leaves tapping the window, not to obligations I never agreed to carry. The house is mine, legally, emotionally, completely. I repainted the guest room a warm amber and planted lavender by the mailbox. On Tuesdays and Fridays, I shelve books and read aloud at the library. On Thursdays, I teach memoir at the community center to 7 women and 1 widower who are learning the courage of their own pages. Sundays, I brunch with friends Ruth introduced me to. We toast small things: ripe tomatoes, a good night's sleep, a lipstick that flatters for once. Lila visits every other weekend with her backpack and sketchbook. We bake cornbread, walk the trail, collect pine cones and stories. At night, she whispers, "I love this place," and falls asleep in the amber room before the sentence finishes. This morning, a wedding. Invitation arrived from Damon's cousin Maya, the one who always saved me a seat. The card was simple, the note in her own hand: "Wouldn't be the same without you, Aunt V." I smiled, but I won't be there. That week, I'll be in Oregon with my camera, chasing waterfalls along trails I've never taken. I'll send a gift, useful, kind. And when I come home, the house will be waiting. Quiet, yes, but never empty. It holds my steps and my boundaries, my laughter and my beginnings. They planned a future without me, so I built a life without them and with everything I meant to keep.